As most of you know by now, watching anime is truly an interesting experience.
So, how do you like my swimming?
I mean, where else am I gonna see a dinosaur evolve into a fridge with a Glock? Or where else am I gonna watch football, but instead of kicking the ball normally, they gotta do the most unnecessary, over-the-top, illegal, did I mention illegal? Attacks known to mankind. Like bruh, some of these shoots are definitely violating the Geneva Convention. This is quite literally like playing baseball, but with a grenade. Like where am I gonna get this kind of entertainment? Looney Tunes? Yes. And that's why Looney Tunes is the GOAT, along with Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry's there too. And then there's this guy. For a good season, my man goes, ah! He brings out the wolf inside of him and he does bits. And by bits, I mean the most mundane of activities, but with his dying will. All while he's almost naked. Boy, you can't do this anywhere else in the world, let alone Japan. Perhaps the most normal weekday in shonen anime. But then again, this is why most of us watch it. It's unrealistic, it's entertaining, and I guess it's cool. And I wouldn't change any of it, even if I could. These guys really be doing the most insane things possible. And when I really just sit there and take it all in, taking the anime, because there's no taking in Looney Tunes, I just can't help but laugh. Let's begin this with Kaiba, Seto Kaiba himself. Kaiba's antics are pretty insane, but it's more in the insanely stupid part, and that's what makes it funny to me. It's like he has a passive ability that activates every couple of seconds that beckons him to be an asshole to everyone around him.
Nice outfit, dork.
I feel like he has a genetic makeup of a JoJo character, at least in the dub version, based on the amount of quotable scenes he has. So let's start at the part where he threatens to exit life if he loses versus Atem. The same guy that was sending people to the gulag from day one. This guy that had the Sigma grind set from the moment he came out of that puzzle. You really thought he was gonna willingly stop for you? Nah. Yugi had to take over real quick and remind Atem that this was a children's TV show. And then there's this moment where he got caught lacking. And do you know how he deals with it? Normally, if you're caught like this, it's pretty much over for you. But not Kaiba though. Kaiba here does not care because his response to this is legendary. This is what separates the chumps from the champs. So behold the power of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This is what sets the second-rate duelists from the first-rate duelists. You know them self-defense guys that you see on like social media? They need to hire Kaiba right now because he is insane and nobody wants to mess with insane people. Then after the finals in the Battle City tournaments, this man initiates the self-destruct sequence for the whole island without telling anyone. Meanwhile, he's out of there on his Blue Eyes White Dragon jet. Blue Eyes White Dragon jet, by the way. And let's not forget the part where he sent cards to space. For what reason?
Because I figure, if there is intelligent life out there, then let's teach him how to duel.
That's actually kind of lit, you know? And the most egregious one of them all, he went to Afterlife while being alive to run that fade back with Atem. And he even came back from that. Bro, this one has no respect for the dead. If I remember correctly, didn't ancient Egyptians treat the dead as like they're holy or something? This man really said fuck you and fuck your rest in peace. All because he wanted a run back. Now that is actually insane. Kaiba, you absolute maniacal joke, man. Never change. Then we got these guys. So let's begin by addressing the name for this group. The Stardust Crusaders, which honestly sounds pretty cool even without the context. But you know, when you watch the show, you realize, oh, this is a holy fever dream. That's why it's called Stardust Crusaders. No, but the name actually kind of makes sense, you know, because the arrow came from space and they're going to Egypt to give Dio the good old left, right, good night. Unfortunately, that goes both ways, but hey. So yeah, in their big adventure against Dio, they happen to stumble into the middle of a desert and you guessed it. For some reason, the sun, like quite literally, the sun just starts beefing them. Low-key, if this happened to me, I wouldn't even be shook. I would actually just be annoyed. See, where I live, seeing the sun for a meaningful amount of time, it's almost like seeing a horse. It's quite rare. So imagine one day it just pops up like that. Nah. If it wasn't September already, I would have had no choice but to bring out these big guns and start blasting it. But that's me, and I'm not even in a desert like these guys are. So imagine them. It's 10 past 8 p.m. That's bedtime, by the way. Bedtime for you. But then again, this must be the work of an enemy stand. So really, they have no choice but to hide behind the cover. Because what are you going to do when the sun starts shooting lasers at you? So the heat finally gets to the camels, which causes them to malfunction. They start dancing and collapsing. Even the local wildlife permanently said, Kakyoin, he's not having any of this. I'll find out the enemy stand location, he says. Well, so much for that. I guess that's what we call foreshadowing, huh? Anyway, to plan B. So by using the Joestar family's secret technique, they hide. Honestly, it's looking peak out here, you know? With how these joke men start laughing, this actually could have been the end of their crusade. Or is it? You know what? Let's do a quick situation assessment check. 4 people are stuck in a hole. A geezer, a Frenchman, and 2 high schoolers. This This is the most dangerous position that you could be in, because catching even the slightest whiff of a stinker at this moment, right here, right now, it's a fate that's worse than death. That's probably why he's going insane, to be honest. The other two, they got their third eye open. Meanwhile, Joseph? Clueless. So behold maybe the most insane plot twist in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Stardust Crusaders. So obviously Jotaro's got it figured out, right? So he picks up the rock and he just yeets it as far as he can, and that's a strike. Yeah, no, literally, that's it. No fighting, no, none of that. This guy was just following them with a mirror and almost won. This is why JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the GOAT. I didn't even clock what was going on the first time I watched this until a friend pointed it out to me. Nah, this has got to be one of the wildest moments. How do you reflect a whole desert? My forehead was too small to take it all in during the first watch. And when I look back at it, I just can't help but think, damn, this guy's insane. What an absolute joke, man. Never change. And last but not least, we have this guy. There is no single moment where he's sane. A wise man once told me that when a pendulum swings one way, it must swing the other way. And that's pretty much how I feel about this character. Either he's standing there like a drone, or Night King Arthur.exe is in full effect. Because I can't tell if this guy's the smartest character alive or the dumbest character alive. So with that being said, let me introduce you to Arthur Boyle from Fire Force. Arthur is what happens when your character has Schrodinger's brain, and when his neurons activate, they fire in the wrong direction. You know when you do maths, right? You're calculating the speed of an aeroplane and somehow you get -2. You know that answer doesn't even make sense, but it's the right answer. That's what he's like. That is how this character operates. It's just delusions and copium. This guy might actually be the most insane character in anime history. So let's take a look, which also means spoiler warning for the Fire Force manga. So what happens is this crackhead right here keeps on losing to another guy called Dragon. And well, he's gonna train to beat him, right? A normal shonen training session involves push-ups, sit-ups, and plenty of juice. But not this guy, which means this isn't a normal shonen training session. So his training starts right here in his own room. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to guess how he's gonna train. Psych! Because there's no way you guessed he's gonna play Dragon Question on the Super Nintendo. There's just no other alternative option. Is he serious indeed? I too ask myself this question whenever Arthur is on screen. But of course he is. So even my guy over here goes along with it. Alright, this is actually really smart because the events in the game is loosely following what's happening outside. So they reach the final boss of the game and Arthur is thanking him. Look at this man's face. Speechless. And the most unrealistic part about this isn't the fact that this made him stronger. It's the fact that they got to the end of a JRPG that quickly. How? Right, so he gets to the final boss and the final boss is the Dragon Lord. And he quits the game. That's it. That's all he needs to prepare. That's his entire training. Now people, you might think this was a waste of time, but behold the power of delusions. They're trying to find another friend, right? And of course, the guy that made the sword is certain that he didn't install GPS on it. But look at this man's face. No way. It works. And not only does the GPS work, he even pulls out teleportation from his ass. I cannot lie to you. Choosing a single moment when it comes to Arthur is impossible. Low-key, reading this manga was a real fever dream, and I actually can't recommend it enough. And the fight against Dragon, the guy he was training for, bruh, you guys have to read that on your own. Anyway, these are some funny moments in anime that are actually insane. So if you want more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in another one. Bye.